Hi, thanks for joining us on the Nourishing the Community Podcast, where we're going to be talking about all things happening in the community with nonprofits and community needs and how you, the listener, can get involved and make some change. I'm your host, LaDonna Parham. This is my co-host,
Norman Hanks. Welcome to the show.
Hey there. Thanks for joining us on Nourishing the Community Podcast today. I'm LaDonna Parham with Nourish Food Bank, and here in the hot seat with us today is Preston Adcock with Possibility Place.
Yes, happy to be here.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So you were on the board for Possibility Place,
I am.
right?
Yes.
How long?
I've been there since May.
Since May.
Yeah.
Good time. So you've got all the influx of information coming. So you should be ready to just spit it all out, right?
I will do what I
Great.
can. I brought plenty of notes just for that.
Awesome. Well, then tell us everything you know about Possibility Place.
Yeah, so Possibility Place is a fantastic organization here in Rutherford County, and it is the only day program and school for intellectually and developmentally challenged adults. So what a lot of people I think don't realize is when you're in the traditional school system and you have special needs, you age out of that at 22. So a lot of these, kids and young adults need somewhere to go. And 60% of them just end up going back home and sitting doing nothing.
Right.
So that doesn't help their development or it doesn't help them in the community at all. So Possibility Place came in and started this program where they take anyone that is aged out of the school system from 22 to 61 is their oldest PAL.
Awesome.
And shows them kind of the ways of the world and also teaches them basic skills that they need to, live normal lives.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So lots of questions.
Sure.
So you say day program and school.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the day program piece, is that where we find the job skills training or is that in the school side? What is the day program?
So it's actually all rolled into one. So part of what they do is they take these adults and figure out what they are very good at and what they really need work in. And they use that to kind of move that path along. Some of the PALs, really need the basics, learning how to read and write, or just kind of keeping the brain moving. Some of the adults have, skills that they can move on to the job training and working in the, working at Publix and Kroger and volunteering all over the county. And so they just kind of take that and kind of how each adult needs it, they make that happen.
Okay, awesome. So, but it's not overnight. It's all during the day.
Yeah, normal school hours. So it is, you're kind of 8:30 to 3 kind of day. They do have things where you can stay a little bit longer if you need to, depending on how the caretakers and parents need them.
And so how many PALs?
It is
How many
yeah.
PALs do you have typically?
Currently there are 44.
Okay.
The goal is to get 50 and beyond. There are, several PALs that are on a wait list, and currently they just don't have the space for them. So there are 44 right now. I said ranging in ages from 22 all the way to 61.
Okay, that's awesome. And how long do they typically stay in a program?
It's as long as they need to. So they can come straight from the school system into Possibility Place. They can come 2 to 3 days a week. They can come 5 days a week, depending on what the schedules look like, what their jobs may be, or what their caretakers or parents kind of need from them.
So you mentioned that they're not all in jobs. So are there tiers based on what they need of folks who aren't maybe ready to have those kind of employment opportunities and those who are ready to take that next step?
There are. So it's not there's not like an A class, B class, C class kind of thing. It is really they kind of do a testing to figure out, what does this person need and kind of work with them with that. And, they all do things together. They all have, exercise time and outside time and lunch all together. And some of them go off to work, so anything from just, have it being in our community, doing community service to working at Kroger and Publix and these folks that are gracious enough to employ some, mentally handicapped adults.
Great. And so how involved are the families?
They can be as involved as they want to or need to. There are always needs for volunteers. So one of the big things right now is Possibility Place, like I said, has kind of outgrown themselves, which is a great problem to
And where are
have.
you guys located?
Currently in the First Baptist Church building right here off the square.
Okay.
They were in the Experience Church for the last several years. With the Experience growing as fast as they are, kind of
They need
needed
that
that,
space.
Experience needed that
Right.
space. So we're able to move to the First Baptist Church building where they currently are. We are currently looking for that permanent building
Mhm.
that will encompass all the different things that they need. And in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, that's really hard to find.
Mhm.
And that's why they've kind of had to cap it at that 44 PALs, but always looking for more.
Are they in the middle of any kind of capital campaign or something for that building?
There is. So all of the events that they have every year um, current earns money toward the building campaign. So we just had the Scramble for Possibilities, the big golf tournament that raised $32,000.
That's awesome.
The goal was 30, so we surpassed that. To put that into perspective, last year it raised just over $8,000. So huge strides coming into this event. And it was a huge turnout. I believe there were 45 teams that ended up golfing that day. Champions Run did an amazing job putting that on for us. And then they have the Night of Possibilities coming up in early December. I believe that is December 8th. And
Okay.
that
Night of
it is Night of Possibilities. So December 8th, tickets will go on sale very soon. That is the PALS night to show their talents. They do anything from singing to dancing to acting, and it's just a way for the community to come together and see them in action.
Awesome. And so where is that happening? Where do people get tickets? What's that cost? Tell me.
Yeah, so not a ton of ticket prices or anything like that yet. That will be coming out very soon. And it will, as of now, be at the Experience. That may change now that they are no longer in that Experience. We will find out more about that in the coming weeks. But I expect tickets to go on sale very soon, and I can always update everybody on when that's coming out.
But they would find more of that information by following along on Facebook or checking out the website?
Facebook and then Possibility Place. You can Google Possibility Place, and in the events tab, it will show all the updated information that's coming out. So that should be hitting the website and the social media here very soon. Our next meeting's in early November, so I expect it to come out around then.
Great. And so you said there's always a need for
Yes.
volunteers. Uh, how do people get involved in volunteering? How do they sign up?
Reaching out to Sonia Craig, who is the executive director, reaching out to her or Jackie Miller, who is kind of the director of all the things there as well. Just letting them know, hey, I want to come volunteer, whether that be one day a week, a couple days a week. That can be anything from helping out in the classrooms to just kind of be an extra eye and an extra ear in the building. Right now, they really need someone to help in the classrooms. There are only so many teachers, and as everybody knows, teachers are hard to find,
Right.
especially that have that special needs background. But you don't have to have that to be a volunteer. You can just come help out. And reaching out to Sonia or Jackie with those opportunities when you can do it would be great.
So your teachers there are teachers.
They are.
Okay. Awesome. And so then your volunteers can do other things, but can't teach unless they're teachers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now you said that you're on the board. What does the board for Possibility Place do?
So we kind of just oversee the entire organization, making sure that it runs as efficiently, as effectively as possible. So, how I initially learned about Possibility Place was through Leadership Rutherford. I'm a 2022 graduate of Leadership Rutherford, and they were part of they were our group that we volunteered with. And immediately I saw the impact that they had in the community and the need for one, a larger board, and two, a big marketing plan.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we did. And I never expected to join the board. I expected them to help find board members. And it was just the impact that they had meeting with Sonia and seeing what they do in the community. I was like, I'm helping them find board members. I can use my background, my expertise to join this board and hopefully help them out. And so we are continuing to grow the board. Currently at 15 members, looking to grow that as well, just to really, find more community involvement, find volunteers, find professionals in this community that are willing to help.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
In addition to the scramble
Mhm.
and the fundraiser coming up December 8th, Nights of Possibility.
Yes.
How else can people give and support outside of volunteerism?
Absolutely. So there is a donate page on the website. If you feel the need to just donate monetarily, you can do that. And then with all the events that they do have, of course, you can volunteer to work those events. There is also a community engagement option on the website as well, where if you are a parent or anyone that has anybody that kind of fits into that need of anybody that's intellectually or developmentally challenged that just really needs that sense of community but are not possibility place pals. They have these events usually around once a month where they just kind of get everybody together, go bowling, go play mini golf or something like that, just to get them out of the house, get everybody engaged, keep up that community. There's volunteers needed for that as well.
And do you ever need donations of any kind of supplies, like for the school or day program or anything?
Absolutely. So, basic school supplies are needed, and there are could be some needs for, anything else that from clothes to kind of anything that those pals may need. Um, as of now, I think most of that is luckily handled. Everything is pretty good right now, which is a blessing to them, and it says a lot to the community. But there are always needs that are out there, and so you can always check the Facebook pages, and like I said, the website. They'll have a list of any kind of volunteer needs that may be out there as well, and then of course reaching out to, like I said, Jackie or Sonia or myself with any questions, and I can point you in the right direction.
Um, Shoot, I was just getting ready to ask you something. I was like waiting to jump in with it. Darn it. Had something to do with parents. Well, I forget that question, but another question that I had was, how do parents know that this is the right fit for them? And then sort of sidestep to that, how does Possibility Place fit in with some of the other programming happening for folks with developmental disabilities?
Yeah, so the parents can come to the school and kind of see how the day-to-day works, and it is an application process as well. So there are certain issues that Possibility Place just does not have the ability to handle. So anyone that has violent tendencies, or there are certain developmental disorders that they just don't have the capacity to deal with. So once again, I think that is part of the growth. Is eventually we will get to that point.
Mhm.
We can kind of handle a little bit of everybody, but there's an application process. Let them know, what does this adult need. What are their developmental challenges? Is it something that where they just need kind of the basics, or do we need to come in and really teach them everything? So there's an application process, and then the parents can come in and kind of see how the day to day looks.
Now, how does like a payment structure, what does that look like?
So I don't have all the details on that. I believe you can pay in a couple different installments. You can pay all at once. It does depend on how long they are there per week. So if they're just going to be there a couple days a week, obviously that's going to be a little bit less expensive than a full week. But that is all on the website, kind of broken down for you, let you know pricing on that.
Right. Do you have any idea if it's sliding scale or?
I believe it is just a base amount per
Okay.
day. But like I said, I'm not sure on the details on that. So that is on the website though.
Right. Okay, great. So I know that you have taken a lot of notes, and I know producer Trent might have a question or two for us, but what's in your notes that I haven't gone over yet?
Actually, you covered most of it, which is great. I didn't really have to even look at them. One of the things that I want to reiterate is this isn't just a place for them to go and sit. It is, they grow. One of their part of their mission statement of Possibility Place is to grow mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. So it is, of course, a Christian-based organization. So there is that aspect in it as well. And there is also just like I said, showing them how to be part of the community, which is very much needed, I believe. My background when I went to school was to be a psychologist, to work with folks with these kind of these issues and disabilities. And like I said, I think it's 60% of these adults just kind of sit and they don't do anything, and then it's kind of left up to the parents and the caregivers. This gives them that option to go to a place where, like I said, they can truly be taught how to work within the community, which is a huge.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I realized that I
Yeah,
got
I
like
got you.
excited face while you were talking. It's because I remembered my question.
Threw me off for a second.
Sorry. I was like, oh my God, I know what it was. So speaking of the caregivers,
Sure.
there's always kind of that vicarious trauma that goes on, whether you're a social services provider or you're in that caregiver role. Do you do any kind of supportive programs for the caregivers themselves?
Possibility Place does not directly. There are, I believe, there's some organizations in this community that help with things like that. Possibility Place just kind of focuses on those
On the
students
students.
themselves, the PALs, and
does that stand for anything, or that's just what
just
people
no acronym,
avenging
just
something?
something.
Like, I don't know.
People avenge. I
It's
don't
the
know.
A word
I'm
I
going to
came
come up with
with.
something though. I'm gonna that'll be in the next board meeting. I'm gonna be like, all right, let's come up with an acronym for PALs. But
Probably not avenging. No,
but
I
not
think
quite.
that's a
But I
bad
mean,
choice.
hey, some of them may love that. But it is, just a kind of different, a differentiator between students and, because they're more than just students. They are true people in our community. So PALS is just a friendly, easy way to put it.
And then I see that you have something that says history here.
Yes.
So tell me about the history of Possibility Place.
I should have hid this better. So it's a fantastic history. So Sonia Craig is the executive director of Possibility Place. So 2010, she really felt this draw to have something that was just different in the community. Her son is a PAL, has a developmental disorder, and it was tough to find a place, for him. So she started working with all these different, folks in the community and with church members, and no one really wanted to take them in, because it's a tough sell. Like, we want to bring in, developmentally disabled adults and teach them. I'm sure that's a hard sell to a lot of folks. So, she continued to work with all these different people in the community, and finally, in 2013, was able to meet up with some folks who were like, yeah, let's get this thing started. And, started working with the pastor of Riverdale Baptist Church, and then into the experience, where they were up until, a couple months ago, and it has just exploded. I believe, their nonprofit status was granted in 2015. So we're running up on, 8 years old now at this point, going on to, 10 years. And that's monumental for a lot of these organizations. It's a nonprofit. They,
Right.
the money is coming in from grants and parents and caregivers. They don't have large budgets to go spend on a lot of things.
Right.
So all too well how to,
Yeah.
nonprofits are their own thing.
Yeah.
So all these events that they have is what brings in all these dollars. So to continue Possibility Place growing, we have to continue with these events and continue asking people, as hard as it is, to, open their wallet sometime and help out the people in their community, so we can keep going for another 8, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you've got a little over a year left before your big 10-year anniversary fundraiser that I'm sure you'll be
Absolutely
doing, or 15 if you take it from the date she first started it. But a lot of nonprofits run like that for so long to begin with, on that passion equity of their founders. And so
Absolutely.
it's amazing that she's still involved and passionate
Oh,
about
absolutely.
it, and as a caregiver herself finds the energy to create
Yes.
that space for everybody.
Yes.
I personally think that programs like this are so incredibly important. I had not worked within the developmental disability community, but I had worked within the senior community
Mhm.
for a really long time at Vanderbilt. And anytime I get to talking to people about it, I will say the number one determining factor between our seniors who were thriving and our seniors who went downhill physically, mentally, emotionally, really quickly was loss of sense of purpose. So the
Absolutely.
ones that ended up just sitting at home, not doing anything, there wasn't really a reason to get up out of bed in the
Yep.
morning and go do anything. There was a rapid downward spiral. And so just having something like this, in addition to the amazing programming you guys offer, just having something like that to go to engage in, to continue learning and growing does so much that you don't
absolutely.
even think about beyond just what they're getting in the classroom. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So their impact is amazing. If you can spend any time there, highly recommend. Just kind of going by and seeing what it's like day to day. Going to one of the events, you see the impact that is made, and a lot of people from when I started, I didn't know anything about Possibility Place, and I think that is one of the big steps we're going to be taking over the next year and ongoing is the marketing, like letting people know what Possibility Place is, how we can differentiate ourselves in the community, and how we can work with others. No one should be out here alone in the nonprofit world. Everybody should be working together in some way, because when one grows, everybody grows. But when one fails, everybody fails.
Right.
So that is my main goal, is to get out here, do things like this, and tell people this is a huge thing in our community. And as many people as we have moving here day to day, those parents need somewhere for their kids and their adults to go.
Mhm.
This is one of the options.
Well, and a lot of folks talk about the super low unemployment rate
Mhm.
in our area and how that can make it hard to find folks. And I'm always talking about that it's almost never that people don't wanna work.
Yep.
That's the myth that's out there, but it almost is never that.
Mhm.
It's what is the barrier that's keeping them from working? And I've
Absolutely.
I've talked ad nauseum. People are so tired of hearing me talk about, childcare
Mhm.
as one of the biggest barriers, especially for second and third shift work.
Absolutely.
And when you look at our unemployment rates, that's where so much of that is in our hospitality factory, and hospital settings that need those second and third shift, but
Mhm.
there's no childcare for that.
Exactly.
But then when you look at things for even adult children
Mhm.
who have developmental disabilities, having somebody to provide that care for them would free those families up. And I'm sure as well, giving them that opportunity to work, having that space, having that income to help offset related medical expenses for them. I mean, it just provides such a double whammy of effectiveness for them. So I think that's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Sonya would kill me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna look into that camera. Like I said, the money. The campaign that we have going on to really continue to grow this and continuing to help the people in our community. We're gonna have to have a building of our own. That's very expensive.
And
And
if somebody were to just hear you on the podcast and be like, "I have a building
Mhm.
here," what would you want that building to have? What would it need to have to be an appropriate size for what you guys are looking for?
So one of the biggest barriers that we're finding is the need for a commercial kitchen, so that
Mhm,
has an outside vent. Because one of the things that they do is they cook. They want to be able to show soft skills to all these adults, and one, to save money on bringing in food. They can
mhm,
cook themselves. Teach these folks how to cook, basic lifestyle skills. So that's been one of the big barriers, is the buildings that we are finding either are an old restaurant, which is great because it has the kitchen, but we also have to make sure it's school.
right,
And, the state is very particular on what a school is and what a school has. So finding both.
mhm,
Um, so, 10 classrooms, a kitchen, an area for activities, a gym or a large open space, a ballroom space,
mhm,
anything like that, that's within Murfreesboro. Would like to stay in the city limits, but of course could go out. Would do want to stay in
and
Murfreesboro.
all your pals are from
Rutherford
Murfreesboro.
County, for the most part. I believe there are a few that come in from out of the county, but for the most part, it is Rutherford County. And so we want to, have that space here. And, First Baptist Church has been amazing at letting us use this space. But of course, there's a timeline on
Mhm,
that. And, we just want to be able to put a sign up, say, hey, this is our space now.
right.
And so, yeah, anybody that knows of a space that could accommodate what we were looking for, like I said, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know what you have, and I'll be happy to bring it to the board and kind of get that ball rolling.
And so reaching out to you, how would they do that?
So you can reach out to me through my personal Facebook. So Preston Adcock on all social media. You reach out to me through my work email, which is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me, which is Preston _Adcock. That is ADCOCK at ucbi.com. And just let me know, leave a link. And like I said, I'll reach out and make sure we get taken care of and see what we can get done.
Great. And the website, you said to Google, but it's probably something like possibilityplace.org.
I believe it's possibilityplace.org. I always go to possibilityplace.com, and I believe it does route. So it is possibilityplace.org.
Okay, great. But if that doesn't work, Google or message me. I'm sure I can find it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Producer Trent, do you have anything for us?
No, that was really good. Participated in the scramble over the years and participated in the bowling stuff, and it's been really fun. It's an amazing organization.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out that our team did beat Trent's team, ended up winning the tournament.
Wow.
So you're saying that one of the people who helped put it on and is on the board magically won the event. There's zero skepticism happening here.
I did not win the event. I am the D player of our scramble. Luckily, a good friend of mine who I went to high school with, and we also worked together. I was a college golfer. So I let him do all the golfing, and then I was there to have a lot of fun.
Sure.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that works. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Is there anything else you feel we should know?
Just continue to support. If you have questions, concerns, like I said, please reach out to me, Sonia Craig, Jackie Miller. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And just continue to support Possibility Place. And if it's the first time hearing about Possibility Place, please look them up, read the mission statement, read all the things that they've done in the community, follow them on social media. There's always different events going on where they're out in the community and volunteering all over the place. And, you'll see the pals out and around and within our community, and stop by, say hi to them.
Yeah, and the next time you do, they'll have an acronym for pals.
Yeah, and I'm going to, Avengers is going in there somewhere. I'm going to make it happen, whether it's board approved or not.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And always thank you to our producer, Trent, and Spread the Positive, bringing light to what's going right.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.